regarding the three proofs that the Rambam brings from Mashiach from Chumash. The first one is that Hashem will return everyone to Eretz Yisrael. The second one is from Parshas Bilam, where over there he says a prophecy about the two Mashiachs, and from Arei Miklat, from the cities of refuge. The question is, why do we need these three proofs? What is each one adding to the puzzle that the other one doesn't have? So we explained the first proof, Hashem will return everyone to Eretz Yisrael. First the Rebbe starts off with explaining why do we need the second proof also, not only the first one, because the first one only says Hashem is going to take everyone to Eretz Yisrael, and it's not enough for a Jew to believe, or a Jew is not allowed to believe, just in the redemption coming by Hashem by Himself. A Yid is obligated to believe that the Gula is going to come through a Melech HaMashiach. The Rambam speaks about Mashiach, about the Gula in Hilchas Malachim, with the laws of kings, and he emphasizes you need to believe in a Melech HaMashiach. You need to believe that Mashiach is going to bring the Gula. Now this is not clear from the first proof that the Rambam brings. There it just says, Hashem will return you. And that's not proving what the Rambam is saying, they need to believe in Mashiach. Therefore he brings a proof from Parashas Bilam also. Now this is where we're holding to inside. We're up the page Lamed Ches, page Lamed Ches in the very beginning. Here, just give me the sefer like this. We're up the page Lamed Ches. We're going to continue now explaining. I said outside. I did not read inside to explain why do we need, if the second proof is speaking about Malach HaMashiach, so why does the Rambam need to bring the first proof that Hashem will bring everyone to Eretz Yisrael? So the Rebbe continues, the Rambam wasn't satisfied just with the proof from Parashas Bilam. And more so, the Rambam brought the proof from Parashas Bilam only as a second raya. But the more important raya he brings is from Vashav Hashem Lekech Hashmuzcha, from Parashas Nitzavim. And why is that the first proof, even though it doesn't mention Mashiach? And why does he bring it also? It has a first. So the Rebbe explains, Ki ein kavanas harambam kan rak lahavi rayis miteidish b'ksav al bias Mashiach. The purpose of the Rambam over here is not just to bring places where it says in Torah Shebeksav and Chumash that Mashiach is going to come. The Rambam wants to prove to me over here that the Torah clearly, explicitly speaks about Mashiach. Therefore, someone that doesn't believe in Mashiach, he is a denier in the Chumash. He's a denier in the Torah because the Torah clearly testified about Mashiach. Now, this idea of that says the Rebbe, the Rambam does not want to bring me proof that the Torah Shebeksav speaks about Mashiach according to some Mefarshim. According to the Mefarshim, this pasuk is speaking about Mashiach. Shegam HaKofer Bepirusha. That's the second one from Parashas Bilam. So the Rambam wants to prove that the Torah clearly speaks about Mashiach. Now the Rebbe is explaining why the Rambam brings the proof from Vashav Hashem Lekech Hashmuzcha. What's not good enough with the Rai from Parashas Bilam that the Rambam needs to bring also Parashas Nitzavim? Because the Rambam wants to bring me a proof that the Torah clearly, explicitly speaks about Mashiach and Gula. Right? Not only according to the Mefarshim, like we mentioned yesterday, the Rambam wants to prove to me that even Tzedokim would admit that Mashiach is going to come. You know what I'm saying? Something that clearly says in the Torah. Not something that's according to the Mefarshim, according to Torah Sheba'al Peh, the way they explain a pasuk. If someone's going to deny in Torah Sheba'al Peh, even in the explanations of the pasuk, is also a kofer. Like I can be a tzeduki, but that's not the point over here. The Rambam has a goal over here. His goal here is to show you that it's something that it clearly says in the Torah. So someone that's going to deny in Shagama kofer bepirusha, someone that denies in the explanations of the Chachamim, for Torah Sheba'al Peh, someone that denies in Torah Sheba'al Peh, who Bechlal Kofer B'Torah is also considered a Kofer B'Torah. But that's not the Rambam's point over here, to prove to you that you're a Kofer B'Torah through being Kofer in the Chachamim. The Rambam wants to prove to you that you're Kofer in the Chumash itself. Elo, the Rambam wants to prove, Eilu Hadvarim HaMefurashim B'Torah. The Rambam wants to show you that the Gula is something that says clearly in the Torah. The nevuah of Bilam was said in a way of a riddle, of a parable. Bilam doesn't say, Melech HaMashiach is going to come. He doesn't say that. What does he say? I see him, and not now. I see him, and it's not close. So the Rambam says, who is he referring to? He's referring to Mashiach. But it doesn't say that clearly in the Pasuk. He will get rid of, a leader will get up from the Jewish people. It doesn't say Mashiach. It says the leader is going to get up. He's going to get rid of parts of Moab. He's going to rule over the whole world. He's saying things he's going to do, but he doesn't clearly speak about Mashiach. Right? The Rambam says over here, someone that doesn't believe in Mashiach, he's denying and something that the Torah clearly speaks about. The Nevuah of Bilam, the Rebbe says, it says in a way, the prophecy of Bilam, you cannot say that it's included in the parts of the Torah that clearly speak about Mashiach. It's not clearly speaking about Mashiach. And the Rebbe points out over here in footnote number 10, the Even Ezra on this pasuk, on the Nevuah of Bilam, he says the whole thing is speaking about David HaMelech. David, nothing to do with Mashiach. So how can the Rambam say you're kofer about Torah if it doesn't say clearly in Torah? And there's a Mepharshim that says it's not even talking about Mashiach, it's talking about David. The Rambam can't just bring the Nevuah of Bilam as a proof for Mashiach. Therefore, the Rambam also has to bring V'shav Hashem Elokecha Shvuscha. Masha ein kein b'pasuk harishon shemefurish b'y al dvar geula kibbutz galis v'chulu. It's not so. It's not a riddle. It's not a marshal. There's no Mepharshim that are cholik regarding the first proof that he brings from V'shav Hashem Elokecha Shvuscha. Hashem Almighty, God Almighty, will return all the Yidden to Eretz Yisrael. That is a prophecy that is clearly talking about kibbutz galuyot. Hashem will gather everyone to Eretz Yisrael. No one could explain this pasuk that it's not talking about the Gula or Mashiach. So therefore, the Rambam brings the first two proofs. So now we understand. V'shav Hashem Elokecha Shvuscha has a clear proof. Why isn't it enough? Because it just says only Hashem Elokecha. It doesn't mention Mashiach. So the Rambam brings a second proof from Parshas Bilam, where there it speaks about Melech HaMashiach. Because it's not a clear proof, so he brings also the first proof. Okay. But the Rebbe adds, now, but we still need an explanation. What is being added through the proof from the cities of refuge? What are you adding by giving me this third proof? What's so special and unique about this proof from Adi Mikot? That Israel is going to get bigger and bigger, and you need to add 3 more cities of refuge that the Rambam needs to bring it. Now look in footnote 11. The Rebbe says, in the Pirush HaMishnayis, the Rambam also speaks about Mashiach. And in Pirush HaMishnayis, the Rambam says that the Torah clearly speaks about Mashiach in Parshas Bilam and Parshas Atem Netzavim. But the Rambam doesn't mention Adi Miklat in Pirush HaMishnayis. Over here, he doesn't mention Adi Miklat. The Rebbe continues in footnote 11. Ein kavanas HaRambam b'Sefer HaYad. Sefer Halacha lahavi kol ha'mikemes shebeteres shebiksav shemefurish b'hem al dvar ha'geula. So the purpose of the Rambam over here in a book of Halacha, if the Rambam would be a Kokadensia, if the Rambam would just be some type of encyclopedia or some type of a book that its purpose is to bring every single time it speaks about Mashiach and Torah, so that he can bring you everything. But that's not the purpose of the Rambam. The Rambam is a book of law. It needs to tell you bottom line, how to act, what's halacha. So in a book of halacha, there's no need to bring every single time that Torah speaks about Mashiach. And the Rebbe says, especially that there are many more places where the Torah speaks about Mashiach, and the Rambam does not bring those other places where the Torah speaks about Mashiach. So the Ramban brings down that one of the strongest places where the Torah speaks about the Geula and Mashiach is in Parshas Ha'azinu, the end of the Torah. But the Rambam doesn't bring it. The Rambam doesn't bring it. Rei Vayechi, in Parshas Vayechi, there's a lot about Mashiach and Geula. Yaakov says, "Osvu v'agidu lachem." I'm going to tell you what's going to happen at the end of the days. And the whole nevuah about Yehuda, in his bracha to Yehuda, he says, "Lo yasser shevet mi Yehuda, u'machayik mi ben raglav ad ki yovei Shiloi." Till Shiloi is going to come, for lo yikas havim, and all the nations are going to be gathered around him. He says, there's a whole bunch of psukim over there that speak about Geula and Mashiach. Rashi says the Rambam doesn't bring it. So basically, the Rambam is not here to just bring me places where the Torah talks about Mashiach. Don't give me an answer. Okay, it's another place where it talks about Mashiach. No. So why didn't he bring all the other places also? This that he picked only this proof from Ari Miklat. The first two we understand, we explained very well. But why Ari Miklat? What's so necessary from this proof from Ari Miklat that he needs to bring this also? Yes, you can ask.
Yes, so the first two is still not clear. He doesn't. Neither of them specifically mention Mashiach.
It mentions Geula. That's
right.
The first one, Geula. The second one is talking about a person for sure.
But how can that? You said maybe David HaMelech. How can this
Right.
be ironclad proof?
So the Rambam. So I'm saying, so the Rambam doesn't say that the second proof is explicitly speaking about Mashiach. He doesn't say that. He says only the first one is.
But if you wanted somebody to know that this is so important, like this is that you kofar b'emunah, if you don't believe in these things, these two psukim seem a little weak.
So the first one is strong. A guy can't deny the first one.
About Geula, but that doesn't say anything about Mashiach.
So the second one, he's talking about a person for sure. That it's talking about a person. Now the Rambam has his Kabbalah that this pasuk has to be speaking about Melech HaMashiach. The Rebbe has a whole sikha explaining why the Rambam says you have to be talking about Melech HaMashiach. There's no way of saying that it's talking about David. The whole thing, it's about Melech HaMashiach. But in the end of the day, even though you're going to prove to me with the Gemara, you're going to give me a whole pilpul to prove to me that yes. But at the end of the day, it doesn't say clearly Mashiach, Melech HaMashiach. It's saying Mashiach. This is obviously what it means, but it's still not a davar mafurish. It's still not something that the Torah says Mashiach. Understand? So he brings it, because in the end of the day, it's talking about Mashiach, but it's not clearly talking about Mashiach. So the question is, what is the need to bring the proof from Ari Miklat? Now, Gam Yesh Ladayik, Sharamam Kosav Rayazu, Bahalocha Bifnei Atzma. Also, we could point out that the Rambam brings this proof from Ari Miklat, from cities of refuge, in a separate halacha. The first two proofs, he brings in halacha aleph. Is in one halacha. Then he makes a separation, and he brings a second halacha. He brings a proof from Ari Miklat. Halacha eira havali lekala ba'halacha akedemis v'yachadim beis rayis erishenis. Seemingly, the Rambam should have bring this proof, this halacha from Ari Miklat, this proof from Ari Miklat, together with the first two proofs and halacha aleph. Why is he separating this proof from Ari Miklat and a separate halacha? The Rambam has no limit how long each halacha could be. So because halacha aleph got too long, so you need to say no. Yesterday's Rambam, the first halacha was huge. The whole perek was like 2 halachas, because each halacha was huge. So why is he separating? There's obviously a reason why the Rambam is putting this halacha in this proof in a separate halacha, because the Rambam holds this as a separate concept, a separate idea. B'ezras Hashem, in the next shiurim, we're going to learn. The Rebbe has more than one explanation why it's in a separate halacha, but then the Rebbe has about 3-4 explanations, and we're going to learn about this tomorrow. B'ezras Hashem. Okay, Mashiach now.